What's up, people? How you all doing? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I'll be walking us through on second man pressing on FIFA 22, why it's important and how to use it to win the ball back quickly and effectively. But before we get into today's video, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more quality FIFA content. Second man press, as the name implies on FIFA 22, is basically applying pressure to the opponent with the ball by a player which is the second man now, not being controlled by you. Second man press usually lasts for about 4 seconds. So when the second man press is initiated, we notice a green cursor on the player applying the pressure. So in this case, this player here is applying the pressure. That's the player that comes to our aid when we initiate second man press, and this is the player that we are controlling at that instant of time. Second man press is usually initiated when we hold the R1 button in my case, or it could be different for you depending on your controller settings. So see here at the controller at the top right, I've held my R1 button. So R1 button initiate second man press. Second man press could be out for most of you guys if your R1 is your sprint button. Man press is so useful in our play because it helps us apply pressure to the ball holder in this case. So we are using the player which is currently the second man, pressing the ball holder, preventing him from making any decision while he's with the ball, and also covering the run. So we are covering this run here with our main cursor. So in this case, it helps us apply pressure on the ball holder here, making him very uncomfortable while covering the run of the most dangerous player on the pitch. So that's why second man press is so important in our game. So in this scenario, we are able to force him back. He tried to force the pass, but he couldn't work because we had covered the passing lane and we forced him into a mistake. Force him back, and also at this point, we applied second man press to make him uncomfortable with this player, to cut out the passing lane to this player here while controlling this player, blocking off the passing lanes to these other players here, to these players there. So it made it very uncomfortable, and in the end we are able to win the ball in this particular defensive scenario. That's why second man press is so important, because it gives our opponents little time to make decisions while we are also covering his other passing options, his other possible passing options. The best place to use second man press is on the wing. Why? Because when defending on the wing, the touch line or the throwing line acts as a defender, because the ball carrier wouldn't want to come in this direction, because him coming here will mean a throw for us, meaning the touch line wins the ball for us. So we just have fewer options to defend, fewer spots to defend, meaning they're defending here in inward directions and here, which are the inward directions. It makes it easier for us to defend, and we also defend his back. You understand? So in this case, like I said earlier before, we blocked the passing lane inwards with our second man here, while also covering the run of his most dangerous player with the player we currently controlled at that moment. Also along the wings, like in this case here, we are able to double up on the ball carrier. This is another important aspect of second man press on the wing. It helps you double up on the ball carrier. So by doubling up, I mean you're blocking his forward path with your controlled player, and you're blocking his backward path with second man press. It could also be vice versa. You could also be blocking his forward path with the second man press and blocking his backward pass with the player you're currently controlling. So this just makes the situation very difficult for the opponent. Like in this case, we forced him to lose the ball and make a mistake. The next best place to use second man press is while defending high up the pitch. We're always trying to use our second man press to make the player uncomfortable. Like in this case here, we are trying to use this player here to make the ball carrier uncomfortable. We are applying the pressure to him while controlling this player here, trying cut off the passing lane to this player. So we keep on doing this over and over again, trying to make the play hard for the opponent to the ball. Like in this case now, if you can notice here, we are with this midfielder right here, or with Kante right here, blocking off the opponent here. So he couldn't make a pass to that opponent. Meanwhile, we held our second one press. If you can see our controller up here, our R1 is being held. So apply pressure to the ball carrier, which is being this guy here. So this combination of applying pressure, the second man, and cutting out passing lanes helped us to force the opponent into an error and win the ball back effectively. So even here again, if you watch this clip closely, yeah, we are covering the passing lanes to these two players here. We cut off the two strikers. The strikers of the opponents are the most dangerous players on the pitch, so we cut off the two strikers with this player here, while applying the second man press on the ball holder to make him uncomfortable. If you look at the top right of the screen, you'll see I initiated my R1 to apply pressure on the ball holder. All this just does is make him uncomfortable and force him into an error. An advanced way of using second man press is you need to defend the middle of the pitch. This method of second man press is not easy, but with practice you can be able to master it and defend the middle of the pitch effectively. So in this particular defensive scenario right here, this particular player, yes, the player the cursor is on right now, this player I'm currently controlling. So I want to block off the passing lanes to this player here and also to this zone. As you all know, I use 4-4-2. So I have two midfielders, this guy and this guy, then two wingers, these two guys here, and my two strikers. The way to defend with 4-4-2 is you want your two midfielders to cover their zones. So my left central midfielder here is supposed to cover this left zone here, while this guy right here is supposed to cover this zone right here. We don't want a situation during game where we drag out one of our defenders and leave a huge hole behind them, especially if someone is occupying that hole. So in this scenario right here, our cursor currently is on this player right here. That's the player that we're controlling. But we want to apply pressure to make this guy here uncomfortable. So we apply second one press. So the second midfielder goes to apply pressure to him. But we don't want him to go too forward that he leaves the space behind him. But the striker right here, because this is zone. We don't want him to leave this zone. He has to mark this zone because that's his zone, right? So if you notice, as the play goes on, if you watch here, as he got to a safe distance, we switch the cursor back to him so as not to overcommit. Because if we didn't switch the cursor back to him, the second one press will continue going forward and overcommit. Meanwhile, this guy here will have a free pass. But now we switch our cursor back to the player here in order for us to block up this zone. Then again, we apply the second one press to this player to come closer to this player here, to come closer, cover the opponent's second midfielder. If you see as the play goes on, we don't overcharge and go to meet him and leave a big hole here. So as he goes to meet him, we switch back to that player in order to manually control him, not to leave a big hole behind him. If you see now, yes, we switch back to the player that was formerly on second man press. So what this does is that it helps us from overcommitting. So now we are back on this player. It helps us from overcommitting and leaving this huge hole right here. So with that in mind, when defending the middle of the pitch, you keep on doing that, getting close enough to the player, but not too close that you leave a huge hole behind you. Then switching to that player, then repeating the same thing. If you notice in this scenario, we kept on repeating the same thing. We go close enough, then we'll switch back. Go close enough, then we'll switch back, making sure that we are keeping the ball, that we are keeping our players, our two midfielders in the right spot to cover their zone. So this helped us to win the ball in this scenario, and we were able to spring up an attack. I strongly advise against using second man press to defend in and around your box, unless you become very familiar with the other three applications of the second man press that I've shown you. If you If you're not familiar with second man press and use it to defend in and around your box, you can leave with holes, and leaving huge gaps in and around your box can lead to a goal scoring opportunity by your opponent. I'm very experienced in second man press, that's why I was able to use it there and create a chance, which eventually led to a goal. So this brings us to the end of another wonderful tutorial. I strongly advise that you keep on practicing on how to use second man press to win the ball back quickly and effectively. Don't forget to drop a like, leave a comment in the comment section, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Bye for now, see you next time.